still close to hundreds, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels cooler. It's been in the 80s and stuff, like right now.
Oh, really? Not too bad then?
I mean, it's 100 degrees every day, but it's not like 110.
At that point, can you tell the difference between 100 and 110?
Yeah, because 100's like bad, but 110 you can really feel it, or 120 is like even worse.
120.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Man, it was 91 today, and I thought that was hot as shit. I was sweating my ass off when I was throwing the garbage away.
Yes, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What the? Be hot.
So you're coming back next week, possibly?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm thinking about it, but.
Where's your mom headed?
Huh?
Where's your mom headed?
Oh, she's going with her to see her friend. Every year they used to like go back and forth. Like her friend lives in Fullerton, and she lives in Lompoc, and her friend used to live in Lompoc, so she'll come and stay with my mom for like 3 days, and then they'll take the train to go stay at her place for like 3 days, and then.
Oh, okay. That's a good deal. That's good.
Yeah. Fun trip. Her hip's good now, so she can do stuff like that.
What do you got? Oh, I thought you had some spray paint.
No, it's one of those shaker, the blender bottle. That's our other sponsor.
Blender bottles. Nice.
Blending.
Nice.
Yeah.
So are we gonna kind of freelance this a little bit with the fantasy football?
Oh yeah, whatever.
All right, so I don't mean to brag, but anybody that hears this, I'm the defending champion of the Lompoc League and in the Orchid League. So I'd like to think that I have a little credibility with this, and I'd like to think I know what I'm talking about. So every year after the 4th of July, I start practicing the mock drafts that are going to be in the leagues that I'm participating in. So I've been participating in the 12-team PPR mock drafts. So what I've discovered is if you have a pick between 1 and 4, you kind of have a sucky team. I don't think that's like the best. That's like the best spot to draft. And the draft isn't the be-all end-all, but that sets you up for success moving forward. I just feel like if you have one of those top 4 picks, by the time you get back to your next pick in the second round, you've exhausted all the good guys are really gone. So I mean, yeah, you might get one of the more dynamic players 1 through 4, but in your second and third picks, you're not really so hot. And then the other thing that I've come to realize here, now that the Eagles, they just have this dominant quarterback that is like a very, very good fantasy football player. If you want to get him, you got to draft him by the beginning of the 3rd round, an early 3rd round pick, possibly a late 2nd round pick. So that really compromises what you want to do. And like, I feel like if I don't get Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team, it's just not going to be a successful season. Like last year I had him, and I only lost 1 game in my main league. In the Lompoc League, I only lost 1 fantasy game by 1 point. Almost unheard of to do that. 14 and 1 last year, led by freaking Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Travis Kelce, Saquon Barkley, amongst others that I had on that team, you know. And it was just I think that was like the perfect storm of a fantasy football team. That was like a life's work of a team that I had last year. And I really rode it. And that was a fun fantasy season up until the end when the guy had the heart attack on the field. You know, that kind of put a little bit of a dark cloud at the end of the fantasy season. But that was a once in a generation fantasy team that I had last year. And now trying to recreate that, it's near impossible. It's been impossible to do. But I have the draft coming on the 27th of August for the Lompoc League and the September the 5th for the Orchid League. So I got a few more days to practice up. Guys that I really want to get on my team. Obviously, there's a guy by the name of Jalen Hurts, quarterback for the Eagles. Currently, as of yesterday, just is signed to the Jordan brand as an exclusive Jordan brand athlete. And if you do a little research in the games last year, he wore Jordan cleats in 17 games last year. And in some of the games, he wore more than one pair. So he just got that exclusive. He just got that really good deal with the Jordan brand. So now he's a Jordan brand athlete. So I think that's a good deal. I'd like to get him on the team. Another guy that I'd like to get, I hate to admit, because he plays for the Giants, and I'm not the biggest Giants fan. He's a guy named Darren Waller. He used to play for the Las Vegas Raiders, Oakland Raiders. I think he's going to be a good, solid addition to the Giants because the Giants really suck on offense. And they were pretty one-dimensional, led by Saquon Barkley last year. But now they have this Darren Waller and another year of Daniel Jones as quarterback, and I think Darren Waller could be a real playmaker. But the thing that I've learned in my practice drafts and my mock drafts is if you want Darren Waller, you got to get him by about the 5th round. And people would be wise to get him before the 5th round. If you pick him in the 4th round, good for you. I think that's a smart pick. But the other thing, there's this unicorn. His name is Travis Kelce. And he might be the all-time greatest fantasy football tight end in the history. So it's where do you draft him? Where do you get him? It's if you pick him and if you got to pick him, you pick him by about the 6th pick in the 1st round. And I just feel that kind of compromises some of your teams, but you've got such a tremendous advantage if you have him. If you have Travis Kelce, you have such a tremendous advantage at that position over everybody else.
Yeah.
Because he's almost getting the same amount of points as a wide receiver 1. So you got to pick your poison, and I haven't really figured out the teams that I like. I like to get Jalen on the team if at all possible, but these guys that I've been with, these leagues that I've been in, the Lompoc League has been over 20 years I've been in that league. So, and there's been very, very little turnover. So everybody knows what everybody likes. And I was kind of I beat the piss out of everybody last year in that league. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to let me get Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown this time around. So unless I overdraft. And there's always a possibility that I do that. So that's where I'm at with the fantasy football. If you have any questions about fantasy football, I'd love to answer them. I'd love I'd love for you to try to pick my brain.
Oh, me?
But we can go from there.
Okay. So what? Yeah. So you kind of said it's probably better to pick a well-rounded team than just picking a superstar. Is that kind of what you're saying with Or you think it's better to pick superstars if you can?
Well, I believe the main cog for success is being able to find value in the picks. You kind of there's this thing, it's called the ADP. It's the average draft pick, where these guys go. So you have to find the value in that. And it just seems like Jalen, if you want him, Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, you're going to spend a pick inside the top 24 picks. Where the quarterbacks, they score the most points, but if you waited a little bit on a quarterback and got somebody it's going to score a little bit less than Jalen at the quarterback position, maybe you can increase points at the wide receiver or increase points at the running back, or really take a big bite of the apple and get Travis Kelce. I mean, that's I think you got to have big balls to pick Travis Kelce in the 1st round, because if you pick him in the 1st round, and then if you really want to have big balls, you pick Travis Kelce first in the 1st round, and then you come back and you pick Jalen Hurts because you don't like how the players have fallen in that 2nd pick. Yeah. You really got to build a team. So a lot of it, I'd like to say it's 90% luck, and it's about 10% skill is kind of my opinion. But you got to do the work, and you got to set yourself up so you kind of have an idea where the certain guys are going to get drafted, because you don't want to just go and overdraft. You don't just want to go pick somebody in the 1st round that you could get in the 4th round. If you do your research and you do your homework, you should have a good idea of where these guys are going to get drafted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So the other part of me is I got to get Jalen because like I've been waiting for my whole life as a lifetime Eagle fan to have somebody like that.
Yeah,
And that's just like last year was such a special year for me, both for the Eagles and for the fantasy team. And the Eagles were about 4 plays away from being Super Bowl champs. And then having Jalen on the fantasy team, I made a bunch of money on fantasy football last year. No, I really didn't. No, I didn't make a bunch of money. I take that back, IRS. I didn't make a bunch of money on fantasy football.
Yeah, it's legal to gamble in Las Vegas.
So
Not that much money, right?
it wasn't a car payment, let's just say.
Yeah,
Maybe it was a car payment. I did all right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn this light on because I feel like I'm in the dark. Does my picture look like it's in the dark?
I mean, yeah, the background is very bright, and then you're kind of dark.
I'm like black and white. Give me 1 second. I got the lights right here. I'm right here. Give me 1 second. I apologize.
Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional.
All right. So I got it. And I think like my league mates, they know I'm gonna freaking do everything in my power to get Jalen Hurts on the team, but he's a damn good football player, and he's a damn good fantasy football player. So I can't knock anybody for overdrafting him.
Yeah.
But that would kind of like indirectly ruin my day. And here's another spoiler, because nobody else will hear this. I always have to get the kicker, and they always say, wait on the kicker. But I always want this kicker from Baltimore Ravens. His name's Justin Tucker, and I think he's like the greatest kicker in the history of the NFL. So I always have to get him, and I always get him in about the 10th round. So I'm always the first one to pick the kicker. So like if anybody wants to like really fuck with me, you'd pick Justin Tucker right before I picked. That would just like if that happened, I don't know what I would do. I would like shit the pit. I had Justin Tucker for like the last 6 years, and it's like I don't know what would happen if I didn't have him. I would be pissed.
Yeah.
Somebody that would really wreck my mojo, you know?
Jeez. Yeah, who would pick the kicker though? Like you said, it's pretty rare.
Hey, but then I got a fancy team name that I've had for like I said 20 years now. My fantasy football team is the NWO Hollywood. And that NWO Hollywood has so on the ESPN. So we're in the ESPN league. So it keeps a running total. And as of now, over the course of the last 20 years, the NWO team has the most wins.
Oh wow!
Over the course of number one in wins throughout the course of the last 20 years. With count them, not one, not two, but the 3-time champion. Whoa. And the reigning and defending champion this year. So, but then this year is going to be a little bit different in our draft because over the past 3 years has been a COVID. So we haven't had before the previous like 15 years we would get together and have a big ass draft party, as you can attest. Because one time I showed up for SummerSlam after a day of drinking and fantasy football drafting, you know. So we're planning to have a live draft for the first time in 3 years. So I haven't seen a lot of those guys in person for a considerable amount of time. So cool. I'm sure they're gunning for me. But the cool thing I like, and I don't mean to talk too much mess about some of my league members, but if I would have been them, I would have wanted to do a draft on the computer, because the computer, it's like a sheet and it basically tells you who to draft, you know. But because some of my guys, they're just, you know, they're not so smart. Like I said, it's a little lucky. Once in a blue moon, they get a little lucky. You know, once out of 20 years, you know, somebody will get a motherload team. But more often than not, there's jabronis. They're just jabronis.
Jabronis.
Cowboy guys. In that league of 12, there's a freaking 5 Cowboy guys in that league. So it's like, those are the Cowboys. They're the worst. Anybody that's a fan of the Dallas Cowboys is the worst people in the world. And if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan that went to Cabrillo, God help you. You're like the worst. And then you know that even the worst of the worst, I can't even say it. I'm not even going to say it. The Dallas Cowboy fans that went to Cabrillo, worst people in the world. If the Dallas Cowboys was playing the Taliban, I'd be going for the Taliban. So that's where I stand on that. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah.
Tell them that I'm doing my flying motion in the video for those that.
Good. Good flying.
I'm flying high as an eagle. Because you are the wind beneath my wings.
Do they sing that in the crowd during games?
No, they got the Eagle Fight song. You got to put. You should pump that one in at the end. The fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly. Score a touchdown. 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory, Eagles, Eagles.
That was pretty good.
That's the fight song of a champion right there. Speaking of a champion, you know what I got? You know what I got right here? Speaking of a champion, what does that say, Dan? The freaking greatest. The greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
I didn't even open it because it has like a tape. I don't want to even take it out of the box.
Took the tape off and everything.
Did you get yours yet?
Yeah, I got it. Here, I'll show you. Right here.
Man. You got your Zubas on?
Oh yeah, I got Zubaz shorts.
Dude, how do you do it?
My fiance got them for me. That's why we're getting married, because she got me Zubaz.
Those are patriotic Zubaz. What? You opened it up?
Oh yeah. I got 2 of them. But I'm trying to sell the other one.
Oh, you did? You got 2.
And then this part had like film on it over the, like this plastic comes out with the Hogan on it.
Yeah.
So you have to like take this part out. You just it's really easy. It just comes out. You just pull up and then let me see.
Ah, you opened your
I mean it's resealable. Everything's resealable. So like this came off with the Hogan and then the figure's just right there. And then
so what do you think?
But all the extras are underneath. I don't know. I mean
it has extras? What extras?
It's got like different heads and shit.
Heads?
Yeah.
Dude, so we could put a Muhammad Ali head on Ultimate Warrior body?
Yeah, sure could.
What? We could put Muhammad Ali's head on The Rock's body?
Yeah.
Oh, the great one and the greatest?
There's multiple greatest heads. Let me see.
Hey, so do you think in your expert opinion on this, is this Muhammad Ali a figure of the year candidate?
Oh yeah, the way everything. See, this is what's inside. It has on the.
Oh, the robe.
Get the robe.
For those of you who can't see, there's an extra set of heads, 2 hands, 2 pairs of hands, and then a robe on one, and then on the other one, it's 4 sets of extra hands, guys. But the robe, we say the white robe with black lettering, Muhammad Ali. Wow.
Pretty sweet.
So the Muhammad Ali could be competing with the gobbledygooker, huh?
Yeah, I haven't got that yet. We'll see when that comes. What were you more excited about, though? The Ali, right?
Yeah, deep down, I'm a big-ass Muhammad Ali fan. I am. I really am.
See, there's all that.
Wow.
And then
what about the robe?
Robe's right here.
Soft?
It's like a real towel. Feels like a real towel. I don't know. And then it says Muhammad Ali. And the lettering's like, you can feel it.
Hey, so I gotta say, kudos to Mattel or kudos to the WWE for that figure, because I think I'm a little biased because I'm an Ali fan. I think that's an awesome. I never in my wildest wet dreams thought they would have got Muhammad Ali, because like I think his stuff is expensive.
Huh?
I just think his stuff in general is expensive.
Oh yeah, I would think.
Like I thought that thing would have been double what we paid for it.
Yeah, you would think, but I mean, it's like kind of the standard price. It's like 2 figures, the extra stuff, their ultimates. That like the Hogan and the Terry Funk or whatever, that was 70. So it's similar.
Yeah, it's right in line, but We're talking about Terry Funk and we're talking about Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. All I can think of is the kids must be like, yeah, we'll take that money, or I don't know. Just they're like, yeah, nobody's making these. Like, why not capitalize on it? Like now it makes me, because Mr. T's been doing well, and they probably just took Mr. T numbers over and like, hey, these sell pretty well, right?
You think Mr. T did well?
I mean, overall, I mean, he's probably like making zero money for figures because nobody's making figures of him. And then all of a sudden, there's like an extra check coming in. It's like, yeah, it's probably, they could probably show that, or that Logan Paul guy. He probably made a bunch of money off of his. Because I bet, I mean, these celebrities, they probably sign for like a high-end figure contract, I would think, compared to like, I mean, maybe they're like, oh, we'll give you like a higher number than we would like some jobber, like whoever, you know.
Hey, do you think we'll ever see a Brooklyn Brawler Elite figure?
I don't know. Yeah, I would think like eventually, because they're just running out of people, and it's like he seems like somebody that would just sign, but who knows?
The Brawler.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, he's the one that I'm sure they made a Jax, but or I was at this record store that sells like random toys or whatever, like secondhand, and I was in there like a couple weeks ago, and they had like a Jax, a bunch of weird old Jax, and one was the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. Do you ever remember seeing him?
No, I do not.
Okay, he's just some like old wacky white guy. But they had a figure of him, and I was like, I should just get this. It's like $5, and then I put it back, and then I came back this past weekend after like a month, and I couldn't find it, so I was like, I got a gift card, I'll just use that. And then I looked it up online. I was like, couldn't be more than like $10 or something. Now I see people selling it for like $50. I'm like, fuck, because these people they get these random figures, and the people, whoever bags them at this store, it's just like a smaller chain, but they just put shit in. They're just like, oh, it's like a wrestling toy, and they probably try to look it up, and they're like, I don't know who this is, like, and then they just bag, and it's like $7 because all the other ones are $7. There's probably some shit, like if I was gonna go through every figure and like add it up, I'd be like, fuck, some of these are worth money, I should buy them, but I don't know.
And getting back to another conversation we may have had, is there going to be a Virgil figure?
Yeah, there was one a few years ago, but now there's a Build-A-Virgil with the next.
Oh, it's going to be the Build-A?
Yeah, because the Build-A figures would always be like suits up until now. Now they're doing him and somebody else.
So that's coming soon?
Yeah, probably like next year. But
it's
like in one of those lines like Royal Rumble or WrestleMania or SummerSlam. Like it'll come maybe in the fall.
Maybe it'll come for February.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Build-A-Virgil.
There's a Build-A Mr. Perfect in the black suit or whatever where it had like Mr. Perfect written on the back, and
yeah, that
was in like one of the SummerSlam line or something.
That's out now, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, but it seems like it's hard to find.
It's kind of sad that they don't have Mr. Perfect figure. Like you'd think that they would have some Mr. Perfects out there, but it's like he's a little controversial.
There's a bunch coming out now, though.
What's that?
There's a bunch like that one was the first one in a while, and there's gonna be a Legends. And then there's gonna be the Superstars.
No Ultimate.
I don't think they'll try. Like a lot of the Legends, they don't try that with because it's just so like it's so expensive. And then what if nobody buys it, or not as many as you'd think? I don't know. They're making a lot of Ultimates now, so maybe they'll just make whoever.
So between now and the end of the year, which figure are you either looking to receive that we've ordered or that's going to be coming out?
I don't know. Do we have anything on order that's not
the Gooker and the Undertaker?
Well, yeah, that'll be fun. Other than that, I got the Faces of Foley coming. That should be fun. But I'm not like super excited. They all look pretty good. And then yeah, like I don't know. Nothing like I have or can think of offhand that's like, oh, I'm gonna get that for sure. Like some of the superstars I'm trying to find now, but even those I'm like, I saw new ones the other day, but the boxes were kind of messed up, so I was like, I'll skip it.
Was that one picture you sent the other day with the Rock and the Macho Man? Was that the same Macho Man that I have?
Yeah.
But the Rock is a new one.
Yeah, the Rock and Macho Man are out in that line, and then they're out with
The Rock is in that line. The Rock's in that line.
Yeah, that's the one. But yours is a nice box. That one had a fucked up box, so I was like, I'm not even gonna bother.
This one came from the Mattel store.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Ooh, yeah.
I thought about going there on the way back, but I was like, it added like 2 hours to my trip last time.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being like you got to make a trip to the Mattel store, how do you rate the Mattel store?
Probably like a 4. It was like 4. It was small. Maybe it was.
That's like Walmart level, Dan.
All I can think of is like maybe there's a bigger one, but the factory is right there. It had to be it. The like HR and all that. Basically, like it's just like, I mean, the whole store's Mattel stuff, but kind of just look like the toy aisles at like a Target, and like this aisle has like wrestling figures, and it's all WWE. There are more than you would think, but I thought when I went, I was gonna see stuff like brand new stuff that was just coming out, or even see it there before I see it in Walmart. But there's nothing but that Macho Man was the only thing that was like brand new that I hadn't seen anywhere yet. Everything else is kind of like shit they couldn't sell at other places, or
so it's like an outlet store.
Kinda. It wasn't like, it didn't seem like anything was like shockingly brand new that you couldn't get already. Like the Macho Man was probably out at other places, and it just was the first time I had seen it. So yeah, it's whatever. I wouldn't, unless you're in that area, I wouldn't go.
I hate to admit this, but I'm the worst figure hunter of all time, huh? I just rely on you or the internet. Like I don't even do the hunts. I'm like a bitch. Like I'm not willing to go to a local Walmart or Santa Maria Target. I mean, when I was going to Paso, we'd go to the San Luis. I would go to the San Luis Paso. I'd go to the Paso Target, and then Santa Maria Target. But now that I'm not going out there, it's like, God damn, pal.
Yeah.
Shit online.
It's kind of far to drive just to look at a Target, and then if you're disappointed, it's like, fuck, why'd I come this far? Over here, it's not as spacious.
Because you said you can hit like 3 or 4 in a 20-mile span, huh?
Yeah.
And there's bigger opportunities where you're at than as opposed to this little piss in it.
It seems like if you go to one section of stores, like maybe like the north stores will have different stuff than the south, and then the west or whatever. And sometimes there will be different like clearance stuff. So like at one store, the Ultimate Warrior and Undertaker were $8, and then I went to another Walmart and there were $7, and then I think I went to another Walmart and there were $5. So
wow.
It varies. It's weird that they wouldn't all just be like, they're all $5. Some stores have so much more than others. Stupid. They're still fucked up.
Another one of our favorite lines, maybe I shouldn't speak for you, but my favorite lines was the Batman 67. Are those pretty much, they've made as much as they're going to make with that now?
Well, they made a Batgirl. I think I sent you a picture of
that.
Yeah,
you did. You did.
They're just reusing the molds a lot and putting the snorkel on them and like whatever. But yeah, I don't know what other villains. They made a villain that didn't even actually appear in the Two-Face. So
did they do Shane?
Who?
Shane?
Who's that?
He was like a Wild West cowboy. I think he only did like he was only on once or twice.
Maybe they haven't done him yet. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're gonna like bleed it dry if they can. They did King Tut and like
King Tut.
Egghead?
Mr. Freeze, 2 different Mr. Freezes, right? At least 2 Mr. Freezes.
Really?
I think there was at least 2 different Mr. Freezes.
Yeah, there's so many.
There's probably 3 Catwomen.
There's 2 at least.
I have 2 different ones. I have Eartha Kitt and Julie Newmar.
Yeah.
I think I have Julie Newmar. Or who was the other one?
We should. We both have one, I think.
And Eartha Kitt. I definitely have Eartha Kitt. Got the Penguin, the Riddler. I guess they could do the John Aston Riddler.
Huh?
They could do the John Aston Riddler.
Oh yeah.
Trade the Riddler the one season.
Yeah. I remember.
Or was it just 1 episode, 2 episodes?
Yeah. Did I send you this? I saw this old what is it? Like 90s talk show where they had all the Batman people come back for a reunion because it was like popular again for some reason.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that was weird. What's his name? The Riddler dude. He was pretty wacky. He like did the character and like kept messing up the line and he'd start over. He did it like 2 or 3 times. It's pretty fun. I got breaking news. Sorry. I just heard Tom Jones is dead.
Tom Jones?
Yeah.
No way.
I thought he died a while back, but now that I'm thinking about it, nah.
Breaking news here first at 8:01 p.m.
Yeah.
8:01 p.m. Tom Jones.
Phil. Good friend Phil. Tom Jones dead at let's see. I'll Google him, see how old he is. We might be the first podcast talking about Tom Jones' death.
Yeah, I believe we are.
I'm gonna, as soon as we get off, I'm just gonna post this and put Tom Jones' death.
Then everybody will see us.
Yeah.
Like we're like revolutionary figures. We got breaking news here on our show.
But I don't know if he's actually dead.
Uh-oh.
This could be a big mistake.
Oh man, we'll be in big trouble now.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'd be bigger scum than the Dallas Cowboys if we did something like that.
Let me check X. You go on to X ever?
No. Just when you guys send me stuff.
Yeah, fucking X.
I don't have X.
Got it.
Not like DX, right?
Yeah, not really. It's I don't know. I have to get confirmation. I should.
So this is unconfirmed, folks. Unconfirmed on Tom Jones. Tom Jones, he's known for being on the Brady Bunch. Wasn't he on the Brady Bunch years ago? Amongst his music career?
Was he?
I think like Marsha had a big ass crush on Tom Jones, if I remember.
Okay. Sounds probable.
We'd have to like maybe. What the hell was that?
Oh shit!
Sounded like a bomb just went off.
That happened the other day.
Uh-oh. Gotta take a little break. We're gonna get this call. Hang on.
Yeah. Take a break, everybody. There might have been a bomb. Tom Jones might be dead, and there might have been a bomb go off at the swamp. Oh, maybe the terrorists. Maybe it's related. Terrorists. I don't know. I'm trying to sell. If anybody sees this, hit me up. I got an extra Muhammad Ali. Not giving it away. I'm selling it. Hopefully $140, but I'll take offers. If not, dang, what happened? Okay, I'm checking a message. Shout out to in case any of my Snapchat fans watch this. Fuck you, Robbie. Piece of shit. Yeah, he's my. Okay, back to Tom Jones. This is the Transcontinental Times. Tom Jones apparently had cancer. He's dead, 95. Dang, this is from 2 days ago. Where have I been for 2 days? I went to Slam Ball the other day. And maybe that's fake. I don't know. The Wikipedia is not updated. I think Phil might have been tricked. We keep with you, folks. Let me figure this out. Shout out to I made my first pro wrestling tee sale, Judah Matthews shirt. I'll put the link down in comments or something, or I did last week. Oh no, Wales Times says confusion. Tom Jones dies in '95, but Welshman is alive and well. Aha. See, it was a fake news. Phil was wrong. I'm gonna have to correct this. And then, so correction, Tom Jones is not dead. I were breaking stories, but all right, let's keep going here. Yeah, I went to Slam Ball last week. We'll talk with the Songbird about that a little bit, but basically it's I'm the Jack Nicholson of Slam Ball. Sit on the floor and I yell. I go for the slashers. Big slasher fan. There's like a playoff game tonight. Did not attend because I had this podcast. I'm committed to this podcast here. So yeah, I'm correcting Phil right now. And then let's move along. Okay. What other news do we have? Shout out to Brian Carter for the sale. By the way, he was the one that bought my Judah Matthews shirt. I'm all over the place here. Might have to edit this part out. What else are we doing? Anybody? He's making it. Run it back. What happened?
I had a funny work-related story that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
I got to go to the Solvang jail today to recover alcohol.
Oh, really?
Really? So yesterday when I went to work, me and my boss, we carpool. So we get to work at the normal time and we're like looking, and right before we pull into the parking lot, we could see the police lights flashing, and we look at each other right before we pull. We're like, that's kind of odd. Yeah. And then we see a golf cart that's parked next to the police car. I was like, uh-oh, what the hell's going on? So then we go and proceed to park, and we see an officer with a shotgun drawn.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So then we look at each other. We're like, let's just sit here and watch. So we're just sitting out in the parking lot watching this shit. Then we see this guy book it like he's in the Olympics, running like he's like a motherfucker. He's like, all right. So then my boss is like, hey, go follow him. So I was like, all right. So we followed him like as best we could, because by this point there's like six different sheriffs and cops. So apparently there was three of them, one female and two males. They had broke into our liquor back room and stole 4 bottles of expensive alcohol.
Wow. But
knowing the whole story, so they had caught 2 of the 3, and the other guy was on the run, and they had been chasing him all night. So this idiot stole a golf cart from Flying Flags and was cruising down the 246 on the golf cart. That's where the cops finally found him. So then they got him, and then I watched the videos, and they're like, yeah, we got the ones that we know they took out of the back room. He's like, well, we got some other stuff if you guys want to come over and identify it. So sure enough, I went to the Solvang jail today and picked up some liquor from the Solvang jail that these idiot guys had stolen from the Albertsons today. Yes, Sunday night. Sunday night is when they did it. So today it was recovered.
That's awesome. You're
I'm like a hero. I'm definitely not a hero. I'm the furthest thing from a hero.
Hold on, we did
get our.
Oh, Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh.
Can you see me?
Yeah. No, I keep getting these notifications from something, and I'm trying to turn it off really quick. I don't know.
I see
Exchange.
you. I can hear
Okay.
you.
Yeah, good. I just want to make sure because I can't see anything right now. Going to.
Oh no.
If anybody could put in the comments how to turn off exchange notifications, that'd be great. At least I might have to type it. We're hitting a lot of topics this week. I thought
Yeah.
it was going to be a full show of fantasy football, but
Well, if you have any questions or anything else, I'll do my best to answer and give my perspective on what I'm looking for.
yeah.
One of the first things that I like is a quarterback that gets rushing yards because that's like uncharted. Like you get extra points for the rushing yards, so that's a big thing that I like to have on my team.
Yeah.
I've liked that since the early days of a guy named Michael Vick. One of the best fantasy football players out there was Michael Vick. Really was. Really before his time. If he'd be playing today, he'd be maybe not. He was really 20 years ahead of his time, Michael Vick.
Too bad he had the probably shortened his career somewhat, right? With the
he got a little vacation.
Yeah.
He didn't even steal liquor.
Yeah, what the heck?
Little bit. Hey, so were you able to figure out how to turn that off?
I'm gonna give up. I'm just because then I'm not gonna pay attention. So whatever.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I was gonna ask about the fantasy football. Does it help to know the people you're in the league with? Because then is it like, so and so is he's a Cowboy. Mark, is he gonna just pick Cowboy top players first, so then I don't have to worry about them, or do you try and snipe some of those people because you think, oh, he's gonna pick them next, I'm gonna get that one, just to mess with them, or their mind games, or you'd rather just pick straight?
That's a really good question. That's actually a great question. Me personally, I will never pick a Cowboy. I won't. I can't do it. I'm not going to say I haven't done it in the past because one year I had Romo and I had Tony Romo as my quarterback and that lasted like 1 week and I was just miserable. No, I will never pick a Cowboy personally myself. I don't mind the Giants. Like I'll get the Giants because like the Giants sometimes they have good players and I don't mind the Giants.
Yeah.
Redskins, Commanders, whatever you want to call them. Not usually. I won't. There's like certain teams that I won't. But to answer your initial question, yeah, it's very good to know the league and the Lompoc League has, like I said earlier, hasn't had much turnover in that league. So for the most part, I know what most of those guys are going to do. But I'm at a significant disadvantage, and I want everybody to hear this disadvantage that. I think about 80% of that league is now retired. So they're over there. They get to mock draft and dick around fantasy football and read magazines all day. Meanwhile, my sorry ass, the champ, got to work 60 hours a week, work at the daycare facility. And I'm at a disadvantage because I don't get to sit around and watch ESPN and Matthew Berry for 14 hours every day. I have to do it on grit, on determination, and on my own skills, and taking these notes right here that I have. I got these notes, and I got highlights, and I got green because the green guys are the money guys. That's how I code it. You know, I got blue. Those are guys I won't take under any circumstance. Green is the money guys that you want to get when you don't know who to get on these lists. And everybody has these lists. So it's not like Revolutionary where you just made your own list up. You know, it's not like cheating to have a list. So, and then in the Orchid League, it's kind of funny. Like this last year was the first time I was in the Orchid League. And I just like was fucking gangbusters in that league too. So I didn't really know the room. I mean, I knew them as people, but I've never like competed with them. And I just like, you know, did my thing, worked out well. And I had a completely different team than the team I had in the Lompoc League, but it was some of the key components. One of my best guys that I didn't mention that I had on both the teams was my cousin, Devontae Adams, one of the best fantasy football players. Oh, man, he's like matchup proof. I love that guy. He's a California guy, Adams, Fresno State, plays for the Raiders. That guy was freaking straight money, straight cash. So I had him on both teams. He was a key component on that team. And then another similar aspect that I had on the one team, I had Jalen Hurts, and then the other team I had Josh Allen. So I've learned over the course of the years, you got to get the quarterback right. You just have to get the quarterback right. I think that's the most important thing. But you have to get it right, but you don't want to overdraft it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the difference between, like, let's say in my notes that I have right here, where did I write them? The difference between, like, say, and for me, like, Jalen Hurts is a personal preference.
Yeah.
But, like, if you got, where's my other good notes at? They're here somewhere. Like, the difference between, oh, it's right here. So in the rankings, so like Jalen Hurts is the number 3 ranked quarterback, and he's projected for 341 points. But if you want to get Jalen Hurts, like I said, you're gonna have to get him in about the late second, early third round. But if you get another guy by the name of Joe Burrow, who's the 4th ranked quarterback, he's projected for 335 points. You can get him a round and a half later and still implement like another excellent running back, another good receiver, and you're only giving up 6 points. Then the next guy, his name is Lamar Jackson, and he's about for 325 points. So you could get him almost 2 full rounds later than you would get Jalen Hurts. So you could get like 2 good players, and you're only really sacrificing 16 points. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you don't want to. You got to get the quarterback right. You just do.
Okay.
You just have to. And the thing that I've realized and I've noticed and I've studied on all the mock drafts I'm doing, as soon as one person picks one of the quarterbacks, whether it's Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, or Patrick Mahomes, it's like a domino effect. As soon as one picks one, the next picks the quarterback, then the next picks the third quarterback. Like the tiers of the quarterback, those are like the top tier quarterbacks. And they go bang, 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 bang. It's like a domino effect. So, and then there's another thing that I learned from Lucky Chris. And I learned about it, and I didn't really pay attention to it until last year. It's a thing called a stack, where you get the quarterback and the receiver, and you get them both. And I never knew the term until 4 or 5 years ago, until Lucky Chris told me about that. I was like, oh, a stack. And last year I actually did it. I stacked Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was the Eagles' number 1 receiver that had like 14 touchdowns and 1,500 yards. So he was like money. So like now I'm like into getting the stack. So the other one, there's the real money one. If you were able to stack Patrick Mahomes with Kelsey, you're like at a freaking significant advantage if you're able to do that. I'm a little weary on Kelsey because he's like at an advanced stage where he could fall off the cliff. I don't think he will, but it's coming. And I read this book. This pertains more to real football or more real life than fantasy football.
Yeah.
Or like if you're selling a car, it's better a year early than a year too late.
Yeah, true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because if you pick Kelsey and he falls off the cliff, you've wasted your first round pick. And then you've kind of wasted your pick with Mahomes as well, because like Kelsey's the best guy that Mahomes has.
Yeah.
And then the other stack would be Josh Allen with Stephon Diggs. That's a good stack to have. So that's another thing that you got to study, the stacks. Like I never did that before, and then I did it. I indirectly ended up doing it last year. Like last year in the draft, I just let the draft kind of come to me. I didn't go out of my way because that's before Jalen like balled out and played his ass and showed his ass.
Yeah.
I just let him come to me. Like last year, he was like the 6th quarterback. And I thought, I think I drafted him in the 6th round last year. And I was like, hey, that's like value. Like it's like I kind of alluded to earlier. You got to find the value. And that was the value was right on him at that pick. So it worked out really well. So did I get a little off topic or?
This is a fantasy football show. We're doing this is the fantasy football episode.
So another good one, like I said, I like to get Justin Tucker. I think he's the best kicker to have. But the funny thing is I've had Justin Tucker for like the last 6 years. And I always am the first one that picks the kicker. And then Justin Tucker, you'd have to look it up. but I'm like 99% sure he's never been like they rank like each position's like scoring. I don't think he's ever been the number one scoring kicker. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like he's always in the top 5, but he's never been number 1. But like he's like very, very reliable. And in Madden, in the Madden game, if we have any Madden listeners, I think he's one of the only few in Madden that he's a 99 player in the Madden game. So I always like to have Justin Tucker. And then another thing that in my personal opinion that I like to do, and you'll get some pushback from this depending on some advanced players, is what I like to do is I like to stream the defense. I like to play matchups with the defense if at all possible, except for what ended up happening last year. I got the 49ers defense somewhere along the line. I got the 49ers defense, and that was like the second best defense to have. But I was like kind of handcuffed because like every week they have this thing. It's called the waiver wire, and so the people, the players that don't have a team, they're on like what we call the boneyard or the yard, and you can get them based on reverse record. So the person with the worst record gets first choice of the people on the waiver wire in the boneyard. So I had a good record, so I would never get to pick like the good players on the waiver wire. So I would pick the defenses. I would always get the defenses. But I got the 49ers defense. It got to the point where it's like, oh my God, I can't do anything with this team anymore. I mean, I hate to say this. I had the perfect team, but it was like, I still wanted to participate and still make roster moves. It was like, well, I don't need a defense. I got the 49ers now. I got the number one kicker. Not the number one, but I got like one of the top 5 kickers. I got the number 1 quarterback. It was like, what do I do to this team? So the thing I like to do is stream the defenses and to play matchups as opposed to just having the 49ers. But then when I got the 49ers, it's kind of like miserable. It's like, I can't make any moves. I'm not going to just drop the 49ers just to play the matchup. And does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
So that's another thing that I like to do. I like to think there's at least 3 of the members in the Lompoc League that have like kind of stolen my moves.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't originate them, and they can't do them as good as I can because I did it first, and I'm still doing them better than all you mofos. Oldies but goodies League ESPN, year 20. None of y'all can compete with the champ. The champ is here in the swamp, flying. And I'm going to take Jalen before you motherfuckers, and I'll still be a better team even if I overdraft him. I'm talking shit, but come draft day on the 27th, we're going to podcast on the 27th after the draft.
Ooh.
And I'm going to have tears in my beer.
Okay.
I didn't get Jalen. They fucking stole Jalen from her. Or it's going to be like, man, I got this badass fucking team. But, so here's how we do the order of the draft. Before the last couple years on the online draft, when we're drafting online, it was just completely random. So they'd set the random order about an hour before the draft, so you had a little bit of time to practice it. But in the live draft, how we do it, we choose cards.
Okay.
So it's like, dude, the thing that I don't personally want is the top 4 pick. I just don't want it because you can't build. I feel like if you have like a pick from 6 to 12 in a 12-team league, it's almost like you get 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the honeypot from 6 to 15 is that's where because you're gonna get 2 picks in those top 15 players, and I think those are the better ones as opposed to if you pick first, yeah, you're gonna get the best player, but then you're gonna get like the 25th best player in your next pick because it's like a snake. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 11, 10, 9. So by the time if you pick fourth, it sucks.
Yeah.
I think picking 4th sucks. Because by that time, like, if you pick Kelsey, like I've done that, picking 4th, you gotta pray. You gotta pray that a guy like Jalen Waddle falls to you, receiver from the Dolphins. Or if that doesn't happen, you're gonna be the first one who picks quarterback. And it's just a little rich picking the quarterback in the 2nd round. But you're gonna get the one you want. Because like if you're picking 4th, by the time you're doing your 2nd pick, those guys are not championship NWO member. Those guys in that 2nd round, if you're picking 4th, we're not on the NWO. If you're picking 6 to 12, there was like 5 guys in the NWO that I had on my NWO team last year, and you could get 2 of those guys from the championship team. No problem. It just depends on which 2 you want. Like personal preference.
Yeah.
But you won't get Jalen. If you're picking, unless you pick Jalen, if you're picking like 6th, you won't get him unless you pick him in the second round.
Yeah.
If you're picking 3rd, you'll get him possibly in the 3rd round. Depends if somebody overdrafts him in the second round. I think the key is getting. I think a key for this fantasy football season is the running back scoring and is tricky. So you gotta get some capable running backs that are gonna get some points. That's important. You can't just like shit the bed on the running backs. And the other thing is the tight ends. I think the key to the tight end situations, like I said, is that guy named Darren Waller. I think he's going to be a little bit undervalued.
Yeah.
Because in this league, in both the leagues, nobody's Giants fans. And then there's at least 2 bitter Raider fans that Darren Waller was on the Raiders, and they're going to be like, fuck that guy. So I think that's like a key. I think Darren Waller, we'll have to revisit this, but I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say, in my Chris's picks, I'm going to give you top 5 Chris's picks. Darren Waller is going to be the number 2 scoring tight end behind Travis Kelce. Mark it down. Okay. Darren Waller.
We got it on tape.
Jalen Hurts is going to be the top scoring fantasy player.
Okay.
Bijan Robinson will be the number 1 scoring running back. Rookie from the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Justin Tucker will be the number 1 scoring kicker.
Yeah. Open.
Okay. One more like pick.
Yeah.
I think the New York Jets are going to surprise some teams this year.
Oh yeah?
I think Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to be at the Jets in New York, and I think he's going to be revitalized. And I think if you end up drafting Aaron Rodgers, I think you're going to be really happy with the results you get. Okay. So that goes back to what I was saying. If you wait on the quarterback, like you could get Aaron Rodgers very, very late in the draft, and I think you're still going to get a damn good football player.
Okay.
Okay, I thought you froze for a minute because you're just looking at me. I was like, oh shit, he froze.
Sorry, those are I was trying to cancel it.
I'm not exactly. I don't know if those are out on a limb. I mean, there's other guys that I like. Rashad White, running back from Tampa Bay, is another one that I like. That I think he could be a breakout sensation this year for the Tampa Bay running back. See, that's the thing. You got to find these running backs because after about the first 5 running backs, let me name them off. Christian McCaffrey. These are my 5. Everybody else has a different list. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, and Bijan Robinson. After those 5 running backs, flip a coin. To me, they're all the same guy. It's just which guy do you want? After those 5, if you don't get one of those guys, you're getting the same guy, my opinion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
there's elite people that you want, and then after it's all kind of the same.
Bunch of Brooklyn Brawlers, bunch of JTs, bunch of Mantars. But here's the thing, every week is a game. It's a different game. It's not an ongoing revolving season. So, I mean, you're going to need a Mantar once in a while to help out. You're going to need a Brooklyn Brawler. You're going to need a JP to clean up the dog shit once in a while,
Yeah,
Not everybody can go 14-1 like I did and lose 1 game by 1 point. Now, could you imagine if I would have went unbeaten? They put me on ESPN with Matthew Berry, or they put me on the NFL Network.
Shit.
Somebody should listen to how I got that team.
Yeah.
Shout out to me.
Yeah.
I did it all by myself, sitting right here on this laptop before I even knew about Skype.
Yeah.
This was before we knew Skype. When I graduated with my degree.
Yeah. You started the podcast by teaching us to Skype.
If you really think about it, this is how the podcast kind of debuted, huh?
Yeah.
Indirectly. So what else you got? I'm in a semi-jovial mood.
Okay, we could keep going. We're about to hit an hour, but
But we took that little break. We took a little break. So
yeah,
let's do 10 good minutes.
okay.
And I'm not gonna get my shit in. I think I got my shit in.
Did you hear about how I'm the Jack Nicholson of slam ball?
No, dude, share.
I have some friend that was working on slam ball, and they need to fill the crowd because they're not doing well. And then so he gave me a bunch of free tickets for Saturday and then today. I didn't go today, obviously.
Where's it at?
It's at Thomas and Mack, but it's like one of the small side arenas, like the Cox Pavilion. So I don't know what they even playing there. Like I don't know. It just looks like they put a basketball court in with trampolines in this smaller arena. But yeah, it was just like, so the camera side, they filled that in with people that just showed up. And then anybody that showed up after a certain time, they just would send them to the general area. And we were sitting on the floor, like on the first row, and like I was like, "Look, I'm Jack Nicholson." My foot was touching the floor, but I mean, we weren't that close to, because they had like, you can't really have floor seats in slam ball because people are bouncing and shit. There's like glass again or plastic barriers like a hockey game, so like the closest seats are still like 20 feet away. So it's not really. I was just messing around with it. It was fine. I was screaming a lot. We just like yell at the players. It's fun.
Well, now that you mentioned the Thomas and Mack, that brought me back to something. For those of you that don't know, the Thomas and Mack Center is home to the UNLV Running Rebels. And if I recall, last year you said that you had tickets to the UNLV football.
Oh yeah, the niece is a cheerleader or something, and she gets free tickets every week.
And they played Allegiant, right?
Yeah.
The football team's at Allegiant, if I remember right.
Yeah. You should come and we'll go to during one of the games. It's fun because it's open seating, so you just like you have a seat on your ticket in case it sells out, but you can just like go anywhere and sit anywhere, pretty much. Seemed like it anyway.
Are you planning to attend any games this year? Do you have any picked out?
I mean, we might go because my fiance likes taking pictures, but I don't know. Just let me know if you want to go. And you're gonna be in town. Just let me know. I'll make sure to reserve them.
Dude, I'm ready for a freaking Vegas trip, man. We're not going to Vegas this year. We went the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
So Lucky Chris and my other Donkey Crew members, we decided to go to New Orleans in October. Okay. But that's kind of up in the air because, like, I would have liked the things to be booked, which they're not. So Vegas could be an easier destination.
It's closer, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What else? What else you got?
Oh.
Slam ball and champion.
Huh?
So you're the Jack Nicholson of slam ball.
That's what they call me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what else. We covered the Ollie.
Hey, CM Punk.
Oh yeah, wrestling.
Is he in trouble again? Or is this like, does his coach like think he's an asshole?
Did you hear what he did?
He cut an unscripted promo, I thought.
Yeah, like after the show, he saw a sign that said Hangman Page or something country, and that's one of the guys he didn't get along with. He was like, "Oh, Hangman Page is a peg warmer in the stores, and my merchandise sells." And because you go to any Walmart, you'll see a bunch of Hangman Page figures, which is true, because those Walmart exclusives, they made them of people that, I don't know, it's just like weird outfits, and they just stick around for a while, but I don't know. And then, so yeah, then he apologized, apparently. He sent a text to him, was like, "Sorry, I was trying to tell a joke and it got out of hand." And then he apparently had some people kicked out of the arena, like Dolph Ziggler's brother was he works for them sometimes, AEW.
As a wrestler?
Yeah, he wrestles, and he went to show up, and I guess a few weeks ago he had tweeted something about like last year when the CM Punk fight. He texted something, or he tweeted about like he didn't say who, but he was like, oh, the softest guy in wrestling or something. And it was about Punk, he thought, and then Punk like he came to the arena a few shows ago, and Punk like got in his face and was like, do we have a problem? Like, let's squash it, or like, what do you want to do? Blah blah blah. And then they apparently shook hands, but it was very supposedly weird and like awkward. And then this Nick Namath was trying to come to the arena this past Saturday, and they told him not to show up. And then same with Christopher Daniels, because apparently the reason given was that he's the head of talent relations, but he was apparently there during the fight last year with the Young Bucks, and like Punk thinks if his friend that got fired can't be there, then Daniels shouldn't be at the arena either, or something. I don't know. It's very weird.
So they bet Punk, huh?
It's just because the Collision show that they just started on Saturdays, like he's the biggest draw, and he's agreed to do it, and he's always, it's like his segments are usually high around the highest, so they're just like, well, if we lose him, this show might go down to be like the Friday show, which gets bad ratings. So I don't know. They're doing as much as they can to keep him happy, and then
So he can basically do or say whatever he wants.
I mean, it's kind of seeming that way, unless they reprimanded him this time, because it's like they all apparently said when they signed contracts or whatever, they wouldn't say anything bad about each other. Like they wouldn't talk about Punk, and Punk wouldn't talk about them, like the Young Bucks and everybody. He's still saying, he's just talking shit. Like, I don't know. It's just very weird that they're letting him get away with it. I think it's all work. It's just maybe at their big show they'll do an angle or something. I just can't imagine like the company thinking he's that important. But I mean, they on Wrestling Observer Radio, they were saying like Hogan used to like have power like that, and he'd get like somebody was booking he didn't like, he'd get rid of the booker, so because he's the one bringing in the money. So
nobody came to see that booker with his pencil.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. There must be some reason they think Punk's that valuable. He seems like he sells well, but also, I don't know.
So he really used the term peg warmer?
Yeah, warming the pegs or something. So yeah.
You don't have to be a mark to know what that means. Well, maybe you do.
Maybe the wrestling figures or whatever.
My merchandise actually sells. He seems like he might be a bad nature.
Yeah, I don't know. Like all these stories, if it's all true, like you think like, oh, I know people that are. Like, I've heard, oh, somebody said a bad story about this guy or this person, and they seem nice to me, but I don't know. When it happens over and over, it's hard to be like, yeah,
kind of like
he seems cool, or he's cool to me.
Kind of like Hogan lying.
Yeah, it's like Hogan's told so many stories and had some like, that's not gonna work for me, brother, so many times. It's like,
his brother, what was his brother shot, or he overdosed, or what did he say?
Like, oh, he got shot by the motorcycle gang, and then like a second later, he's like, actually, that didn't happen. He overdosed. So, like, geez. Blair was on that same podcast like the week, just this past week. He was pretty good. He was just, I don't know, just talking about his life for like 2 hours, but it's pretty funny.
You good?
Yeah. The only other thing I got this week, I got a ice bath. We did that one night. You done ice bath?
Ice bath challenge?
Yeah. Well, it's like a rubber thing, and you fill it up and then sit in it. So
How'd that feel?
it's all right. I did the one at the Ultimate Fighter to test it because they had Connor and
quality control.
Yeah, they want to make sure like nobody's having heart attacks in this thing or whatever, because it got really cold. Like it's down to like, I don't know, like 32 or I don't know. It was very cold. 28.
How long did you stay in there for?
Oh, so like I forget. We got in, and then it was super cold. Like you had to control your breathing, but It was probably like less than. It seemed like it had to be longer, but I bet it was only like 2 or 3 minutes.
Do they tell you that? Control your breathing?
Yeah, there was a guy there just kind of like, well, just so when you get in, you just take a deep breath out, and then or deep breath out as you get in, and then like just try and like take deep breaths and not like hyperventilate or whatever. Like,
Oh,
okay.
really?
But like the first time was fine, and then we got out, and then we got back in to test. They're like basically setting up the camera so it would focus on people right in the tubs and whatever. And then the second time we got in, like immediately I started shivering all crazy. Like it was really bad. And they're
Dude, you
like,
went into shock.
yeah, and that's what the guy that was like there with the tub said. He was like, yeah, this usually that happens. Like you'll get in and be fine and get out, and then the second time because it's shocking your system or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. But this one, I didn't get enough ice, and it's hot as shit outside anyway. So like the water
You
was,
got one at the house?
huh?
You have one at your house?
Yeah, it just bought. It was like $90. It's this rubber tub, and you just fill it up. So you could get one at the swamp.
How much ice does it take to fill that fucking thing? Like 200 pounds of ice?
Well, I just
like 10 bags?
Water, and then I got like 2 of those bags of ice at like Walmart. Just dumped those in. But
just 2 bags?
I did 2 bags, and then my freezer ice machine. Because I was like, there's not enough ice. If the next time I do it, I'm gonna get like 5 or 6 bags. Because the 3, it made it cold. It made it cold as shit, but I wanted it to be like cold enough where you're like, I gotta get out. And I was just sitting in there like 10 minutes, and it was fine. But yeah, you should look into that if you need.
So where did you get that from?
Just Amazon.
Oh, really? Just
Yeah.
Amazon ice bath.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. There's a bunch of different. They're all kind of around the same price, like between 70 and 100 and something for the.
I was looking at Joe Boo figures on Amazon.
Oh yeah,
you need Joe Boo.
You gotta get a Joe Boo.
Fuck you, Joe Boo. Joe Boo needs a refill. Dude, that's classic. Hey, you'll appreciate this. I did a little research on that Joe Boo. They just made that up.
Yeah.
And they just kind of did the figure, but they only had one figure. They only had the one doll.
Yeah.
And so they had to be real protective of it because they only had the one. So then some guy got it. It wasn't any of the guys that was like Charlie Sheen or Serrano or any of the. And this guy has, I think he's a dentist. I'm not exactly sure what he does. I'd have to reread it, but he said they've offered him like $35K for that Joe Boo, and he won't like sell it. Dude, how could that's like one of a kind?
Yeah. That's
Fuck, we need to create like our own Joe Boo.
Yeah, we need a mascot. JP.
Mantar. Joe
Yeah.
Boo. Mantar Joe Boo.
Trying to make one.
Joe Boo needs a refill. All right, my man. I'm good. Right. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You have anything else to hit?
Huh?
Do you have any other topics to hit?
We're going to do it again next week, so we don't want to go crazy.
And then we're going to have our pre or post fantasy draft show.
Yep. Get ready for that. Hopefully it's not working late. I worked that day, but.
What I should do, being that I'm the champ, we should document my journey to the draft. And
yeah, that'd be good.
We should document me at the draft live.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think I'm in that day though. You're gonna have to do it your own, like do updates or something, selfies.
I should just let the league know that my producers would like to document my journey to the draft because they did some research and they've never seen anybody have such a wonderful fantasy team. So they wanted to know how I did that.
Yeah, you should take your laptop and just put the camera on and Skype and press record the whole time. You can.
Hey, but it would have to. I could do that, right?
Or just go to your camera and record your whole draft. Then you can send it, or whatever.
Yeah, but it would have to, I'd have to be able to connect to the internet, right?
I think if you have a camera, there should be a way or an app you can download that records what's on the camera, and then you don't need internet for that, or you shouldn't. And then you just post it later.
I could email it to you then.
Yeah.
If I can figure out how to do it.
Share on Google.
Okay.
Works, but we'll see.
Something to think. Hey, maybe I should order that Joe Boo and bring him with me to the draft.
Yeah, I think that'll clinch it for you. I don't know how that wouldn't help.
Joe Boo is going to bring good luck. He's going to bring life to the fantasy draft.
That's right. Joe Boo.
Fuck, Joe Boo, he cost more than them two Ali figures. Joe Boo was like $80.
Jeez, yeah. It's pretty expensive for Joe Boo.
And Joe Boo's not even real.
Who'd he ever beat?
Yeah. Shit. All right, man. Let me know if you're coming next week for the watch along, and then we could do Red Lobster.
Yeah, if not, we'll just do it for.
Dude, we should document our Red Lobster trip.
Ooh, yeah. We got lots of content coming.
Red Lobster would not be fond of that.
Oh.
You know who the most upset people would be for Red Lobster during this endless shrimp? The fucking dishwasher's gotta be pissed about that.
You were just like barely eating shit too, and like just give me more. There's so many places.
Hey, but the trick is, man, she's got to edible up. You can eat so much.
I think we'll go for it next time.
Yeah. All right, so send me a text from the Figure Hunter. Give me a text tomorrow, whatever's exciting going on in your life, because I'm sure I'm going to be bored as shit tomorrow at work.
All right.
I always look forward to the 6:46 a.m. text on a Friday from you. I'm on the Figure Hunt.
Yeah, that's the way to go. I gotta get up early this rest of this week so I can do that.
All right. All right, Dan.
All right. See you later.
I'll talk to you later, brother. Take care. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly, score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to